Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to T's Time. I'm TJ. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a little while since I had like a van update, but a long overdue. So we're gonna need like an extra inch or two below the frame, the mounting of that, just so we can get it low enough like so, and then be able to slide this out to get the filters out like so, and then just change them out. So at the bottom, if you could see, there's like a little centering ring that gets centered on like so, and then this gets centered on that like so, and it gets tightened. So let me get this, or actually I could probably just take off these bottom pieces, the housings, the filter housings themselves, to get the room without even bolting the top pieces. That'll probably work out best. We need to just figure out a mounting location, get some hardware, get this screwed into the side of the cabinet without any interference. It shouldn't have any interference. There's like no draws or anything like that, so I just need to make sure I don't have like a crazy long screw. But let me get this broken down and test fit it. All right, so it does fit. Anything, like I might need to shorten this line right here to get this to pull further back, just so we could get our fitting in, and a 90-degree on that, I'm thinking. Or I might actually just might be able to use that little stub like so. But I did remove the sink. It's only like this one little spin on right here to get the sink out of the way, and I dropped it in from up top. So there is room. So right now I need to just go ahead and get our fittings on. I have shark bite fittings. I had them send me the water filters without fittings, just because I'm using a shark bite push versus a crimp style that would have been sent out. So it's a 3/4 male NPT to a 1/2 inch shark bite push, so that we see that it fits in there. I'm gonna get that out. I'm gonna get those put on. Make sure you use food grade sealant Teflon tape to make sure you seal those so that they don't leak. And then once I have those mounted on there and we have our 90s on there, I'm gonna throw it in and mount it. And just be mindful of like when you're screwing through walls, what's on the opposite side of the wall, so that way you don't damage anything or interfere with anything, especially since I have batteries in there. But like I'm not using like monster size screws. I have some I think probably like an inch, even though like this is like 1/2 inch birch that I made the cabinets out of. Or do I have 1/2 inch? I don't know. I'll see what I have, but we'll make it do what it does, and just make sure we have clearance at the bottom so that we can unscrew and drop those filters out when we do need to change them. And I do have extras, of course, extra fittings, some pipe, disconnect tool right there for our end caps or block offs. And this is like just a plastic like disconnect clip. I usually use this, but let me find a crescent wrench, some sealant tape, and we'll get this mounted and installed, and we will have actually filtered water. And the reason why I went with the 2 filter system versus the 3 is just space wise. As you can see, I don't have a lot of room. I would have preferred to have the 3 filters, but I don't have the space for it. But this should be good. It should suffice. It should do what it needs to do. But let me get situated. Let me get stuff mounted, or not mounted. Let me get the fittings installed onto the filter, and then once the filter housing is complete with the fittings, then I'll get it mounted to the wall. But let me get that stuff situated and we'll get this going. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the other side, and then I'm just gonna get this mounted and get everything connected. I'm gonna throw a 90 on the edge like so. This side has like a little drain, so that way like when I turn on the filter, like I'm not sure, is this a carbon? So coconut shell carbon block technology. So you might get like some color that comes out of the filter when you first start it up. What I could do with that, I could turn on the pump and just let that like drain slowly until it runs clear. So that just gives me like another option. I'm not too sure if I really like that it has like a little drain at the end. But we're gonna find out, just because it's just an extra leak point. That's the only concern that I have. And then I have a regular 90. It's gonna be for the backside, and the flow of water goes through here and then out through here. So that's what we've got. So let me get this other side connected and let me get it mounted, and we'll get it connected and running. All right, so I have it mounted. This is what I have. We still have clearance to reconnect our sink right there. We have it high enough for the filters to go in, and also there's different size openings at the bottom of these. There's a gasket on this one right here, and then the back one doesn't, just because of the opening on the filters themselves. Like this larger one gets the one where there's the little O-ring. The smaller one, the carbon one, gets the one that they're without the filter. So this one goes in the back. All right, so that's installed. That is done. That is finished, complete. Check your the filters that you're using, just to see when they need to be changed. Some are per gallon, some are by month, or both, whichever one comes first. But check with the filters that you have. Each one could be a little different. So there's just enough room to get everything in and get that tightened. It is definitely a tight fit, but it is in there. So right now we're going to check for leaks, and like I said before, the way I have it flowing is going in from the back and then out from this side. And the reason why I have like these little shutoffs right here is if I need to sanitize these water lines, I could just shut off this and that one right there and open this to bypass the filter, so we don't send like bleach. Like some people use like bleach to sanitize the tanks, but you don't want bleach to run through your filters. If you do, probably just change your filters and everything out. But this way is just to prevent any chance of bleach being left over. I just have like the little bypass, so that way we could sanitize and clean and not have to worry about our filters being touched. So right now we have this closed. Before I had this open, just bypassing with these shutoffs, and everything is still functional. There's enough room. It's barely enough room. But right now we're gonna keep this one actually closed, and I'm gonna open that back one, and then I'm gonna just try to bleed this off and see if we get any carbon from the filter out, just to see if there's like any different color. So I have a water bottle. My water pump switch is right there, so it's within arm reach. I'm gonna do something like so, and let's just hope it's not that powerful. I could probably try to regulate it with that shut off in the back. That might be my best bet. But right now we're gonna turn on our water pump. Water pump on. The back one, we're gonna open that up just to see if we get something come out of this. And make sure you check for leaks. Whoa, there's some leaks. So it appears we won't be able to get this installed today. There should be a seal in here, which there isn't a seal. So it's just leaking like right here. Like there's supposed to be like probably, I think, like a rubber, a little gasket that goes around there, like a big O-ring that sits in there. I just looked online because like hard plastic to hard plastic doesn't really seal anything. So I don't know if they just didn't include it, like when they broke it down to remove or what, I don't know, but like I am gonna have to reach out and contact them. So it is installed for now. We'll get back to it once I get my O-rings, or if I be able to go pick it up at like a local hardware store or something like that. But like I'm not gonna keep playing with it. I'm not gonna keep wasting water. So luckily I do have like the shut off, so like I will just shut this down and bypass it until we could get some actual O-rings in here, because that's not cool. I don't know who dropped the ball on that, but yeah, so we can't go forward right now. So this will be continued when I reach out, I speak with them, get some replacement O-rings. But yeah, to be continued. All right, so we're finally back a week later. 2-day shipping is a week later, translates to. But we got our gaskets, we got our little O-rings that go into our filter housing so we can get this installed so we have leak-free filters. So we already did our install, we have everything hooked up. The only last part that is remaining is just to install those O-rings so there's no leaks. So this is what I have so far. If you missed, or if you didn't miss because it's the same video, but anyways, this is what I have set up so far. We got everything mounted. So right now the only thing we have to do is just get these removed and get these O-rings installed. So we're gonna take out this one so we gain access to the back one, so it has to go in that sequence when you remove it. Take out the front one, then the rear one, install the rear one, then the front one, and then we'll turn on these valves and we'll shut off the center one because I have it bypassed. And like I said, just so if I want to sanitize the lines, all I have to do is hit the shut off right there and bypass the filters, and we'll be good to go. We don't have any like sanitized stuff going into our filters, so we don't have to change those out. But let's get to it. Let's get those removed. All right, and the little black rings you see in there, that's what we were missing. That's why it wasn't sealing before. So those are in. We're gonna reinstall these without any issues, hopefully, and we'll be good to go. And then I'll turn those valves off. We're gonna check to see if we have any more leaks. We shouldn't have any more leaks. This is like the last part. The lines themselves, it's like a little something there. The lines themselves are already tested, so those aren't leaking. This was the only thing, our last little leak, and this is the last part of our water system. The only doozy I have is my water pump seems like it might be on its way out, so I might need to be replacing that. Just like with anything, home ownership, van, mobile, RV ownership, there's going to be repairs and maintenance that need to be done. You can't escape that. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of time. So we're just going to keep going until we don't have to go anymore. But let me get these installed and we'll check, make sure we don't have any leaks. All right, so those are installed. Before we check to see if those leak, I'm going to do a water test. I have these little sampler kits right here. This is a chart just to check for hardness. As you can read, free chlorine, iron, copper, lead, nitrate, nitrite, MPS, total chlorine, fluoride, cyanuric acid, chlorine dioxide, quote, total alkanicity, carbonate, and pH level. So everything's supposed to be in range within these boxes here, so we could just see. I just want something to compare to see if there's like going to be any change. If there is a change, if any, this will show us. But just something to play around with. So I'm going to test the water before filters, and then I'm going to test the water after the filters. So of course we're going to have to run the water for a little bit so we get that water to circulate through our filters before we dip it in the water. But for the instructions, it says immerse the strips in the sample for 2 seconds and take out immediately. Use a clean paper towel to absorb excess water. Hold the strip horizontal for about 30 seconds and compare results against the chart provided. Read results within 30 seconds in good light for most accurate results. So I'm going to do it under the running water. Should be fine, should suffice. We're going to turn our water pump on, and the water pump's back a little funky. Let's just say that, like, it just runs, like, I don't know if it's trying to purge itself or what, but it does that for a while, but then eventually it stops, and it's like, I don't know, like, it sounds like it's on its way out. But anyways, let's do our first test. So that's sample number 1. Oh, and there goes the pump. I think it fixed itself. All right, and then we're gonna open these or close this center valve, so we actually have the water going through our filters. And just like on the front side, this knob is exactly the same on the back, so I'm gonna open that up. Just a little hard to get the camera back there and do what I need to do. So the back is opened, it's filling. All right, and then we're gonna open that air out. All right, I'm gonna do another one on the filter. Everything checking to make sure everything appears to be normal. Yeah, I'm gonna run another strip. The only difference, real difference I see between the two test strips is right here at the bottom, and that's the pH level. So it looks like it's in a 9 for the filtered, and it looks like with the unfiltered 6.4. And mind you, I do filter the water prior to putting it in the tanks also, so this is kind of getting like double filtered in a sense. Use like a regular hose, well, not a hose, but like the one that's kind of potable for like actual it's not the black hose, but it's the white hose that you use for like you're doing drinking water and stuff like that. So I do that attached with a filter, and then from a spigot into the tanks. So it does get filtered. So even like when you have like filters put on, you need to probably just run them to get everything to go through. And the other difference I see is the carbonate, but that could be from the filter itself. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna do another test just to see. I want to see if that pH level would drop down a little bit. It looks like it's on the high end. Yeah, so let's see. Actually gonna use okay, and the second test on the filter water is back within range. Looks like it's clearing up. We're looking at that bottom line, the pH. Yeah, as we run it, it probably will get even lighter. But that's just kind of the filter doing its thing and working itself out, because as soon as you put like new filters in anyway, you probably should run them a little bit just to kind of flush them, get them to run through. So I did put like a little bleed valve at the end of this. I could open up if I want to put a water bottle on, just to do that, and then dump in the drain before I ever go running through, like even like the hot water heater and stuff like that. But I am pleased with that, and we actually have dry floors, or cabinet floors anyway. But yeah, so I'm pleased with that. Everything works, everything is a tight fit. We don't have any leaks going around like our drains or anything like that. So we did have to disturb this to move it out the way to get everything to fit in here, but everything is fitting nice and snug, and everything is still like easy to get to and function and just service. So that actually keeps the cabinet, the sink in place more, because beforehand like it was able to move around, but like it's a pretty tight fit, where I was planning on putting like caulk going around the bottom of it, which I probably still need to do. You can just see from like that movement, the discoloration on the countertop. But yeah, so thank you for checking this out. Just a little update of what's going on with the water system and everything like that. And that's the last piece of the water system until I need to do repairs. Like the pump seems like it's been making like some weird noises. So I don't know if I'll even record that thing. I already did like an install video with the water pump. And if I did, I'll probably put a link up top. So you can click the link and go check that out if you like. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking, subscribing. If you got any questions, you know what to do with them. And then, yeah, who knows what the next video holds. But until the next video, make sure you know the source of your drinking water. Don't chance it. Don't chance your health. Health is wealth. Peace. TJ.